Welcome to CADVision Systems 3D Experience Day 2022. My name is Aaron and I'll be your guide, walking you through the most impactful enhancements in SOLIDWORKS 2022, which is just around the corner. The featured enhancements in SOLIDWORKS 2022 are supercharged with 3DEXPERIENCE works consisting of best of the best Dassault Systems technology, allowing you to work smarter, work faster and work together. So this year we are featuring a long-time SOLIDWORKS customer in the Netherlands, U-Boat Works. They are launching their NEMO submersible, one of the most sophisticated pieces of underwater tech available to consumers. So without further ado, let's dive in. We look at the thoughtful user experience enhancements that allows you to work smarter and work faster. In SOLIDWORKS 2022, Command Search is integrated into the S key shortcut menu. You can even have SOLIDWORKS to show you its location for future references or just add them into the S key shortcut. Coordinate systems can now be defined using specific numeric values. With the coordinate systems to be easily defined, the placements of the second thruster or any component is effortless. It's very common to use reference geometry as SOLIDWORKS allows users to define relation. However, in order for us to reference these reference geometries, we have to unhide them or turn them on. With SOLIDWORKS 2022, the new Q key shortcut allows you to quickly turn on the assembly or component reference geometry such as planes, coordinate systems and origins. Coordinate systems have visually and functionally changed as well. Their axis planes and even the point itself can now be used to create sketches, section views and more. Pack and Go in 2022 now allow you to see a progress bar giving you an indication as to how long the process will take, which is especially useful for larger assemblies. With all these valuable additions to the user experience, the most user-friendly 3D CAD software in the world is now even easier to use. Now let's look at the part environment enhancements. Mesh BREP format is gaining popularity as the need for reverse engineering increases. In SOLIDWORKS 2022, working with these files will be just like working with a native geometry, all thanks to the new hybrid modeling capabilities, creating features like chamfers, extrude, reference planes, and more no longer require an intermediate bodies or a Boolean operations. Draft is one of the most used function, and a second draft feature is needed for an opposite direction draft. In this case, a bidirectional parting line draft would be the most appealing. In SOLIDWORKS 2022, you can now create draft in both directions with just using a parting line and a draft feature rather than having to create two separate draft features. What better way to inspect component than using section views? Section views are a great way to vividly observe the internal construction of the components, but sometimes a suitable one doesn't exist. Now, you can specify a section view from any cylinder faces, conical faces, or axis. Cut threads are useful for rapid prototyping, but it's too much detail for higher volume manufacturing, and they can make the file large and complex. The new Stud wizard is a great choice here, as it automatically recognizes the diameter of the boss but still provides a list of different thread sizes and pitches to use. You can even create an undercut with full control over the dimensions. The Stud wizard adds cosmetic threads that can be called out in a 3D annotation or 2D drawing. In SOLIDWORKS 2022, configuration-specific properties have been separated into two tabs: Configuration Properties and Properties Summary. In the first tab, property information is added just like you expect. Now you can choose which configuration they apply to using the drop-down. The Properties Summary tab provides a useful way to compare configuration based on the custom property. It has always been easy to create frames and structure with SOLIDWORKS. 2022 makes it even easier with enhancements to secondary members, the introduction of connection elements, and more. Creating multiple secondary members is even faster in SOLIDWORKS 2022, now that you can select a point and multiple bodies. All corner treatments are just as intuitive to define as they have been in the past, giving you full control over the end result. SOLIDWORKS 2022 now even has the ability to define or insert connection elements. Defining the position of the connection element is easy. Simply select the faces of the members, then use the convenient member planes, which reveals themselves automatically to create the element. The connection element is smart and can cut predefined holes in the members that you selected. Gussets and end caps are also now supported for structural members in SOLIDWORKS 2022 and are just as easy to be defined as before. Mirroring features and components is very commonly used function. Now in SOLIDWORKS 2022, you can mirror across two planes or faces. No longer will the operation like this require two separate mirror features. Moving on to the enhancements in the assembly environment. New for 2022 is the ability to easily open drawings in detailing mode from a large design review assembly from just the right mouse menu. Additionally, in 2022, you can open sub-assemblies from large design review mode in this lightweight format as well. This ensures that you are not loading any unnecessary information that is not currently in use. Assemblies can be hassle when there are too many parts and moving components around would be difficult. Moving components now, it's way easier in SOLIDWORKS 2022. When selected from the Feature Manager tree, you are now presented with a triad that makes it extremely simple to get a component into just the correct spot with the controls for X, Y, Z and rotation all at your fingertips. The Quick Mates toolbar in 2022 also gives you more control by presenting you with the option to make adjustments before adding a mate, such as the alignment. This is also true when additional circular type mates where you will be given the opportunity to lock the rotation of them before confirming. The intelligent pattern-driven component patterns gets even smarter in SOLIDWORKS 2022. Now when you choose a component to pattern, SOLIDWORKS will always choose that component's location as the seed for determining how to create the positions of the other instances. Even if you change the location of the component to a different location, the pattern still assumes the component you are patterning is in the seed position. Another feature to control our assembly's design are configurations, which is a powerful way to create alternate versions of parts and assemblies all within a single document, keeping your designs organized. You can choose to have instances of components included or excluded from different versions of the design. You can also choose to use alternate configurations of other components in each configuration. The possibilities are endless, and as more variations are made, keeping track of this can get very complicated. However, new in SOLIDWORKS 2022, the new configuration table, this table makes it much easier to both create and manage configurations. From the table, you can add new versions of your design, and you can also choose to toggle the suppression state of different components on and off. Likewise, you can specify which versions of components to use in each configuration. The configuration table also has filters to make it easier to focus on what's important. Finally, when we look at a bill of material, there will be cases when components in the design should not be included. This option can be controlled from the component properties in the assembly to specify this. However, this can become time-consuming for parts that regularly should not be included. So new in SOLIDWORKS 2022, a new configuration option at the component level where you can specify that the component should have this option enabled by default, saving you time from having to change this each time the components is used. SOLIDWORKS 2022 also introduces a wide variety of performance and usability improvements to ensure that you can focus on the engineering of your designs and less time determining how to manipulate them. Now on to drawings. And this is a critical stage that enables the fabrication of our creation. One great way for us to work on our drawings is the detailing mode. You can add and edit notes such as snapping in a missing balloon, organize sheets, add dimension, and set tolerances. But detailing mode has been evolving. New in 2022, you can insert whole tables and standard views from the view palette. And when you're done, you can even save or even print a complete accurate PDF. What about our older drawings that hasn't been accessed in years? In 2022, SOLIDWORKS has extended the ability to open any prior version drawing right to detailing mode. This is great because you'll always be able to open any drawing even if you do not have any of the reference models. Also new to SOLIDWORKS 2022 drawing, a new in-context menu popping up allowing you to toggle circular dimensions such as diameter, radius, or linear. For turn parts, the new symmetric linear diameter dimensions will reduce cluttered dimensioning in drawings for a clearer reading. These are double dimensions which now can apply in a single click to a silhouette edge or in batch with multiple axis mode. This new annotation type allows you for a clean section view by eliminating redundant leader lines. Geometric dimension and tolerancing is used to clearly illustrate manufacturing intent by allowing functional definition of component features and allowances. SOLIDWORKS 2022 introduces a brand new interface to define geometric tolerance indicator. The interface is more intuitive with step-by-step input, making it easier than ever before for specification, zone, feature, filter, characteristic, modifiers, and datum references. And also add adjacent and auxiliary indicators, tags, create stacked and composite indicators, even erases any of those mistakes. In design like this, with many unique weldment parts, each with its own cut list, this is a rich data, but how can we roll that up into one assembly level table? With SOLIDWORKS 2022, the detailed cut list options is available for bill of materials of all types. This means that you can aggregate multiple cut lists into an assembly BOM, providing you with more flexibility and depth of control. Proper documentation is a key component of bringing your designs to life. Adding clarity to your drawings, share your intent, and finish this task faster with SOLIDWORKS 2022. Creating excitement early in the design stage through photorealistic renderings and animation will accelerate sales and marketing initiatives. HDRI environments have long been used for accurate real-time ray tracing. Environment can be useful to include some scene lighting. Example in this case, a sunlight source. However, the background image will need to be replaced with something that is more targeted to a potential commercial audience. Since 2D stock images are easily accessible and come in all shapes and sizes, this can add the perfect touch to any rendering, but traditionally requiring a trial and error process to align the model's perspective to that of the background image itself. So Visualize 2022 simplifies this process dramatically with the new match camera capability. Using the 2-point perspective of the horizon and ship's structure, along with the ship's walkway, the camera focal length is calculated to apply to the 3D geometry. This builds additional photorealism into the project by seamlessly integrating to the 2D image and 3D model. Unfortunately, the shadow casted off the NEMO seemed to bleed through the ship's wall. This is no longer a problem with Visualize 2022. Primitive geometry can come in handy for multiple scenarios, and in this case, the wall primitive brings in a vertical plane which can then be positioned and scaled to replicate the wall's location as seen in the image. New in Visualize 2022 is the ability to convert this geometry into a shadow catcher, which leaves the shadow exposed while removing the primitive geometry, giving the exact level of detail needed for this rendering. Additionally, for animations, now in SOLIDWORKS Visualize 2022, items added to the animation timeline can be nicely organized into folders using the Group Add option. The animation ribbon can also be color-coded, making it easier to find and reposition these keyframes to the perfect place. As progress moves along and each rendering finishes up, Visualize 2022 now offers a new, updated output viewer to keep your projects even more organized. Rendering settings can be reviewed, and projects can be cancelled or re-rendered as needed. And the best of all projects' outputs are referenced, and the final deliverables can be open. Year over year, SOLIDWORKS Visualize takes advantage of the latest rendering technology and simplifies for every user. Generating world-class sales and marketing collaterals like what you see here with the NEMO has never been easier.
Getting excitement early in the design stage to photorealistic renderings and animations will accelerate sales and marketing initiative. HDRI environment has long been used for accurate real-time ray tracing. Environment can be useful to include some scene lighting. An example in this case, a sunlight source. However, the background image will need to be replaced with something that is more targeted to a potential commercial audience. Since 2D stock images are easily accessible and come in all shapes and sizes, this can add the perfect touch to any rendering, but traditionally require a trial and error process to align the model's perspective to that of the background image itself. Visualize 2022 simplifies this process dramatically with the new match camera capability. Using two-point perspective of the horizon and the ship structure, along with the ship's walkway, the camera focal length is calculated and applied to the 3D geometry. This builds additional photorealism into the project by seamlessly integrating the 2D image and the 3D model. Unfortunately, the shadow casted off the NEMO seemed to be bleed through the ship's wall. This is no longer a problem in Visualize 2022. Primitive geometry can come in handy for multiple scenarios, and in this case, the wall primitive brings in a vertical plane which can then be positioned and scaled to replicate the wall location seen in the image. New in Visualize 2022 is the ability to convert this geometry to a shadow catcher, which leaves a shadow exposed while removing the primitive geometry, giving the exact level of detail needed to this rendering. Additionally, for animation now in Visualize 2022, items added into the animation timeline can be nicely organized into folders using group options. The animation ribbons can also be color-coded, making it easier to find and reposition these keyframes into the perfect place. As progress moves along and each rendering finishes up, Visualize 2022 offers a new, updated output viewer to keep your projects even more organized. Render settings can be reviewed, and projects can be cancelled or re-rendered as needed. And the best of all projects' output are referenced, and the final deliverables can be opened. Year over year, SOLIDWORKS Visualize takes advantage of the latest rendering technology and simplifies for every user. Generating world-class sales and marketing collaterals like what we see here with the NEMO has never been easier than ever before. To SOLIDWORKS simulation with many new enhancements. SOLIDWORKS Simulation 2022 adds new capabilities that simplify analysis setup, improve performance and increase the accuracy of your simulations. The internal frame of the NEMO personal submarine contains a large number of bonded contacts. Solve time for this type of geometry is now over 25% faster in Simulation 2022. Taking advantage of cyclic symmetry by cutting the model down to a third will save setup time and solve time. The model can be further simplified by removing the tie rod and replacing it with a new type of virtual connector, the linkage rod. The linkage rod connector accepts either cylindrical faces or vertices to represent the rod ends. The end conditions can be defined as either fully rigid, pivotal, and even spherical. SOLIDWORKS Simulation 2022 now defaults to a powerful blended curvature-based measure which can now accept mesh control values outside the maximum and minimal global size range. This means you can refine your coarseness in the mesh in any region without limitation, helping us to reach that optimum balance to solve time and accuracy. After running analysis, we can review the shear, axial, and bending loads of the virtual linkage rod, as well as solve the contact reaction force developed between the latch finger and the latch flange. SOLIDWORKS Simulation 2022 adds new functionality that refines the setup process and provides under the hood enhancement that speed up the performance and increase solution accuracy. SOLIDWORKS Simulation 2022 adds new functionality that refines the setup process and provides under the hood enhancements that speed up performance and increase solution accuracy. Apart from that, additional features and more horsepower has been injected into SOLIDWORKS plastics to solve more complex problems with greater ease. Adding a material for the plastic injection analysis is crucial, making the material database a key to any plastics in simulation. And this year, for SOLIDWORKS 2022, over 100 new material models has been added and updated over 1,500 materials to improve fill, pack, and warp accuracy. For this model, going with a sketch-based runner, using the updated and simplified runner tool, just click the sketch segment and choose the dimensions. The new Flip Dimension button makes it even easier to build your custom runner, and now there's no need to define the number of elements for each segment. It's computed automatically. For a family mold to create cavities for both the right and left-handed components, in Plastics 2022, the new symmetry boundary conditions can be used. This will create virtual opposite-handed cavity in one step. Simply click on a plane that cuts through the sprue, and the new cavity and associated runner is created. In another case, for family mold with multiple cavities of the same part, the new cyclic boundary conditions allows you to create additional sprue cavities in a circular pattern. Just click the center, sprue sketch line, the number of cavities you want, and you are done. SOLIDWORKS Plastics 2022 combines additional functionality, simpler pre-processing, and powerful automation to get accurate plastics injection simulation results faster. To keep your designs on time and on budget while keeping your design teams organized and informed, SOLIDWORKS PDM 2022 introduced powerful new capabilities, providing more control to maximize productivity. It's important to know what your teammates are up to. With PDM 2022, hovering your mouse over the new login profile picture provides quick access to editing the presence node, allowing you to update your activity for the day. Want to know what your teammates are up to? Simply hover your mouse over their username to find out. New for 2022, transitioning from the bitmap preview to the eDrawings preview is now more discoverable with the help of a dedicated button. Displaying a bitmap preview first speeds up the file data browsing in the vault. If need, interrogating your models can still be done and is now easier than ever with the eDrawing desktop UI fully embedded. PDM 2022 has now embedded with the ability to incorporate your licensed exactly one part environment into PDM Professional. Exactly one part is a powerful search and discovery application that allows you to gain deep insight into your vaulted data. One part not only presents you with the results but also highlights parts that share a 3D similarity. Selecting all three components allows us to compare them side by side in order to find the part with the least amount of weight. With the part identifier, a simple button launches it in SOLIDWORKS, allowing us to complete the assembly design while avoiding the cost of creating a duplicated part. The ability to use the open drawing command is now possible with PDM 2022, regardless of what the drawing is named or where it is located in the vault. The command has been added to the right mouse button menu of the PDM add-in, allowing you to quickly access component drawings as well. New for Web 2 is the ability to fully preview these formats. STEP, IGES, Parasolid, STL, JT, and SCIS can all be viewed directly in your web browser. With new user controls, search integrations, and previewing capabilities, SOLIDWORKS PDM 2022 provides the tool you need to maximize your productivity. These are just some of the many enhancements done on SOLIDWORKS 2022 solutions. It's a pleasure to share all these amazing enhancements for the new upcoming SOLIDWORKS 2022. But there are just too much to cover in such a short period. And I highly recommend to get your hands on the new SOLIDWORKS version from CADVision Systems as soon as it's released. Again, my name is Aaron. I'll catch you on the flip side.